Those of you who watched Alexander Povetkin's recent victory over Mariusz Wach may have noticed that former undisputed heavyweight champion Lennox Lewis was the guest of honor at that fight. He was sat at ringside. And Lewis has come out and made some comments about a fight between Deontay Wilder, who's the current WBC heavyweight champion, and Alexander Povetkin. And based on what Lewis saw of Povetkin against Mariusz Wach, a guy of similar dimensions to Wilder, although nowhere near as quick or explosive as Wilder, he said that based on what he's seen, he gives Deontay Wilder a pretty good chance against Povetkin. He said Deontay could cause him a lot of problems because he has long arms, skillfully moves and boxes from a distance. Against such a style, it doesn't make a fight easy. At the same time, however, Wilder still commits a lot of mistakes that Povetkin can use to his advantage. He says that Povetkin has to avoid straight punches, control Wilder's movement. In the fight against Wach, he was tested against such things. He has to come up with something to neutralize Wilder's right hand, and then he will be able to win. The opinion of most is that Deontay does not have a good chin. He has skinny legs, and that indicates he won't be able to take a real good hit. And I've seen a lot of people say this, actually. I've seen a lot of people say that Wilder's legs, they're obsessing about how skinny Wilder's legs are. I think that the size of a guy's legs can be misleading, because I've seen plenty of guys with big, strong legs who can't take a punch. Tommy Morrison was a guy with big, strong, calf muscles and thighs and all that. And he was notorious for having poor punch resistance. And at the same time, I've seen guys with thin legs, like, for example, Gerald McClellan. He had a tremendous chin, but he had really skinny chicken legs. So I think people can get far too obsessed about the size of someone's legs, thinking whether they can take a punch or not. Sometimes guys with skinny legs can take shots. Sometimes they can't. Sometimes guys with big legs can take a shot. Sometimes they can't. You never know until the guys actually get hit. Yes, we've seen Wilder go down as an amateur, and apparently he was dropped once as the pro. But since then, he hasn't shown any vulnerability. I certainly don't expect Wilder to have an iron jaw, but I really do think people are obsessing far too much about Wilder's perceived punch resistance problem or what have you. I think that it's got to a situation where people are so obsessed with his punch resistance or perceived lack of punch resistance that they're totally ignoring all the strengths that Deontay Wilder does have. And as I mentioned in my post-fight video following the Povetkin-Wach fight, Wilder is a hell of a lot quicker than Mariusz Wach. A hell of a lot quicker. Povetkin's going to have to worry about Wilder's right hand. There were plenty of times where I saw Povetkin staying a little bit too long on the outside, and Wach was able to actually get shots off, particularly early in the fight. He was able to land decent shots on Povetkin. Remember, he managed to cut Povetkin in the fight with a punch. Wilder's right hand is going to be coming in a hell of a lot faster than anything Mariusz Wach threw at him. I honestly believe that Wilder's got a very good chance of beating Povetkin. I really do, particularly if the fight is in the United States, in Wilder's comfort zone. I mean, if the fight's in Alabama, I'm definitely picking Deontay Wilder. But if the fight's in Russia, I certainly would give Povetkin a much better shot at winning it. Again, just for the fact that Wilder being an inexperienced champion, an inexperienced fighter in terms of fighting outside of his comfort zone. I might even give Alexander Povetkin the edge if it's in Russia, but I'd still give Deontay Wilder a decent shot. So the location of this fight to me is more of a factor in my mind because of the fact that I don't know how Wilder's going to react when he's taken out of his comfort zone in a high pressure situation. Yes, he fought Audley Harrison in England, but not exactly high pressure, is it, against Audley Harrison? Against Povetkin, a guy who's a very serious fighter, who'll be by far the best guy that Wilder's fought as a professional. Putting him in the lion's den in that situation against that caliber of opponent, that's a totally different type of scenario, okay? So, but nonetheless, I take what Lennox Lewis said on board. He was there. He witnessed Povetkin in the flesh. And I kind of concur with him. I think this is a very competitive fight coming up between Wilder and Povetkin. And again, I want to actually, I'll do a separate video about this because there are people going off on Wilder about the fact that he's not going to fight Povetkin next, that he's going to have a voluntary defense of his title. But I'm going to go into that in a separate video. So drop your comments below, people. What do you think about Lennox Lewis's comments regarding a fight between Deontay Wilder and Alexander Povetkin? Do you think that he's actually making some decent observations, that actually it's a pretty competitive fight, that he saw things there which Wilder could exploit, but at the same time he's seen things in Wilder's game which Povetkin could exploit? Or do you, like most people seem to, think that this is a total mismatch and Povetkin will just walk through Deontay Wilder easily? Drop your comments in the comment section below. Let me know how you feel. It's your boy Hatman. I'm out.